Me and Christian was sitting at the house a few nights, and we were talking about the high water, how it pushes a lot of game to certain ridges. We knew that there was a spring squirrel season coming up, and we decided to get out there and see if we can get a couple squirrels. We took the boat, trolled along the bank until we heard a couple of them barking, tied up the boat, hit the woods. It wasn't hard to find the squirrels. You look for the cuttings on the ground. That's normally the shavings of what they're eating and chewing on in the trees. They'll normally eat in the same places or out of the same trees that provide what they're eating that time of year. It was spring, so there was a lot of new growth out there for them to eat on.
I'll have to find the rest of them.
Normally during the springtime, you got to deal with high water, especially in the basin. Hunting out here in the basin, there's going to be two types of squirrel. One, the fox squirrel, which is commonly known as the red squirrel, and the other one, which is commonly known as the cat squirrel, which is a gray squirrel.
Spidey stalks paying off.
Spring squirrel hunting is very hard. With all the leaves in the trees, it's easy to lose them.
I saw him jump into this tree.
You look for that limb and them trees moving, and you go after it. We got to the landing about 6:30. The sun was already coming up. We had a front pass yesterday, so there's a north wind. I'm not sure. In some of the shots, you'll be able to see it was pretty windy. Gave us the opportunity to wear long sleeves. I'm sure you saw the mosquitoes that we had to deal with. We got out here, we found us a good spot. The water is actually falling. We were kind of shooting for an area where we knew that there was a couple of ridges, and we're hoping that all the squirrels will push into a ridge. It's a May spring season, It's a special season that's only been in operation for about 4 or 5 years now. We wanted to take advantage of it and give y'all a little bit of hunting action in the springtime. We got some turkeys, we got some frogs, we got some squirrels, we got some fishing going on. Y'all stay with us, it's gonna be a great rest of the show. I originated my swamp tours because I'm a gator trapper in the Atchafalaya. I'd go out every day and search for the alligators. My friends and family caught on to that, and they started offering me a couple dollars to take them into the basin. I started getting airboats, and the business grew. I also learned a lot of history about my swamp. If you or anyone you know wants to take a Mike swamp tour, MikeSwampTours.com. Call me, book a tour. I'll take you, show you the beauty of the Atchafalaya Basin. Well, you've seen it in the show. Anytime we hit the water, especially in the swamp, we use the gator tail outboard. We kept throwing stuff at these motors left and right. They kept chewing stuff up and spitting it out. It's a short version of a long tail. It's the first design of its kind. So if you want to go out in the field and you want something that's tough and reliable, you get a gator tail outboard. This product really does take us places we never thought possible. The Team Voodoo Pro staff always heads over to Bayou Teche Guns in Arnaville for all their gunsmithing needs. Over 40 years of gunsmithing knowledge, they also have a large selection of new and used guns. Shotguns, pistols, rifles, you name it, they got it. For all your gunsmithing needs, head over to Arnaville to Bayou Teche Guns. Alright, we're out here. It was a great squirrel hunt, as y'all can see. We're here with Chef Coach Patan. He's gonna go ahead and cook it up for us. He's gonna show us pretty much the do's and the don'ts when cooking squirrel. Something pretty easy, pretty simple. Smells good already.
Yep. So we're basically cooking some smothered squirrel in a gravy. So it's classic Cajun. So we got some squirrel meat. We're gonna go ahead and heavily season this with our voodoo spice. We wanna kind of pack it with some flavor.
We are cooking for Cajuns, you know, for the spice one.
Just like everything that we've been cooking, we got a little duck fat. It's going in a hot cast iron skillet. Cajun's cookware of choice.
Like butt.
Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and let this melt, and we're gonna start to sear off our squirrel. Okay, so the squirrel is very lean. We want to kind of brown it up, and we're gonna cook this very quickly.
I don't think I've ever heard the term sear before in my life. It's always been browning. I'm browning some chicken, I'm browning some squirrel.
Exact same thing.
Browning.
Browning, searing. So we want to kind of, when you sear, you're locking in all those flavors. So you're making that crust. And so it's going to be a very good thing, especially when you're trying to simmer something for a long time, so that way it doesn't fall apart.
Is it the same kind of caramelization that happens whenever you're doing the onions?
Yep. The sugars in the meat are going to coagulate and kind of just going to sear and kind of give you that crust that you're looking for.
Is there such thing as browning the meat too long?
Burnt.
Okay, well, that sounds about right?
But a good Cajun can take a burnt thing and make it work.
Add a little bit of potatoes in there, a little extra water.
Yep. Kind of make it work. So while this is searing off, had anything interesting happen on your squirrel trip?
When Christian went for the first squirrel, he was shooting in one direction. The squirrel fell out of a tree behind him. He turned around, he ended up missing the first squirrel, but he got the second squirrel, which if he would have never scared that squirrel out of the tree, we wouldn't have even seen it. Spring squirrel hunting is probably the hardest thing to do out here. If it wasn't worse to be the mosquitoes and the heat, those are the two worst things. You just can't see. You can't see into the canopy. Come springtime, you see a branch moving, you have to really examine it to get up in there.
So we're getting a nice sear. Our voodoo spice, a little bit of paprika that's in there, is reacting with that fat, and it's going to give it a nice color. Alright, so while this is searing, I'm going to make me a little well right in the middle. And again, our holy trinity, onion, bell pepper, celery. Onion going to give you a little bit of sweetness as it caramelizes. The bell pepper, a little bit of bitterness. And then a little celery for some good flavor. So we're going to add our vegetables and we're letting this sweat. And kind of one of my general rules of the house is that when is the gravy done? Well, it depends on how many beers you're going to consume. Is it a 1 beer, 2 beer, 3 beer gravy? Not meaning that 2 or 3 beers in the pot, but how long it takes you to finish that beer.
The time also goes up if more people show up.
Right. So we're going to add a little bit of garlic. Alright. A little bit of bay leaf for some flavor, a little bit of thyme. Two of the things I put in just about everything that I cook is bay leaf and thyme. I really enjoy the flavor that comes out.
All that stuff can be purchased at Hebert's grocery store. They have 3 convenient locations. The one that I choose the most, of course, is the Henderson one. It's on the way to the Atchafalaya Basin. It's where we do all the hunting and fishing at.
If you can't find squirrel, you can always get a couple of rabbits. I know Hebert's and Henderson sell some local rabbits, so it's really good. Same application, be very nice with that. Alright, so I'm going to add a little bit more of our voodoo spice. Kind of give it a little bit more flavor. I'm going to go ahead and pour in a load of beer. I'm going to deglaze. And we'll let that gravy cook. Alright, so we have our squirrel and the gravy. The liquid is reducing now. As that liquid from the beer or chicken stock, beef stock, or water, whatever you put in, as it's cooking down, it's going to caramelize and make a nice little, almost brown or a little Vietnamese at the bottom. Little extra tidbits, and you want to make sure that you deglaze that and that becomes part of your gravy. Alright, so this is reducing now. As it's cooking, we're going to add a little bit more liquid. I have some that's been simmering for a little while now because it's going to take you about 20-30 minutes to let it simmer. You want that squirrel to be nice and tender. If you're using rabbit, you can cook it the same way, same amount of time.
You want it to follow the bone.
You basically just pour that right over some white rice. Leg. And just like before, we garnish with a little bit of green onion for flavor and crunch. And there we have our little squirrel in the gravy. Add a little bit more liquid to this one, and that'll be a snack for us a little later.
Awesome. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed everything that Colt did for us today. Stay tuned, we got the next segment coming up. I originated my swamp tours because I'm a gator trapper in the Atchafalaya. I'd go out every day and search for the alligators. My friends and family caught on to that, and they started offering me a couple dollars to take them into the basin. I started getting airboats, and the business grew. I also learned a lot of history about my swamp. If you or anyone you know wants to take a Mike Swamp Tour, MikeSwampTours.com. Call me, book a tour. I'll take you, show you the beauty of the Atchafalaya Basin. What you've seen it in the show. Anytime we hit the water, especially in the swamp, we use the gator tail outboard. We kept throwing stuff at these motors left and right. They kept chewing stuff up and spitting it out. It's a short version of a long tail. It's the first design of its kind. So if you want to go out in the field and you want something that's tough and reliable, you get a gator tail outboard. This product really does take us places we never thought possible. The Team Voodoo Pro staff always heads over to Bayou Teche Guns in Arnaville for all their gunsmithing needs. Over 40 years of gunsmithing knowledge, they also have a large selection of new and used guns. Shotguns, pistols, rifles, you name it, they got it. For all your gunsmithing needs, head over to Arnaville to Bayou Teche Guns. Hey guys, welcome back. Another thing that you can hunt in the springtime is turkey. Me and Zach went out the day before, located a whole bunch of birds, and we had a good feeling that the next morning was gonna be a good one. This is the turkey hunt. When turkey hunting, you gotta get out there way before daylight, which means the birds are still pretty much sleeping. We knew where the birds were, so we just had to sneak into the area, get as close as we could to them, and give them a few calls. If he's close enough, he's gonna let you know. This bird was very interested in the calling. If you listen real closely, you could hear him calling back to Zach. The type of turkey we have out here in the swamp is called the Eastern. To some people, the best part of turkey hunting is hearing him talk back to you. With every call, we noticed he was getting a little closer, so all we had to do was sit tight and let him come to us. I've been on quite a few turkey hunts in my day. They don't all turn out like this. This bird came out on a pipeline, saw the decoy, and came in on a string, like Zach would say. You see that turkey sticking out his fan? Right now, what he's saying to that hen decoy is, "Look how big I am." He's also asking for her phone number.
The closer that turkey got, the more anxious Zach was getting. We wanted to let him get as close as we could so we could get a good shot of him before Zach took a shot at him.
Zach, just tell us exactly what happened this morning. Kind of recap for us.
Well, start off yesterday. I went yesterday morning, scouted, heard a couple of birds, so I knew there were some birds in there. So got back there this morning, right off the bat, 2 birds gobble. So we set up on them, get set up, we wait for them to fly down, man. It took them a while. Finally, they flew down about 7:15, 7:30, and they sat there and they went back and forth, stayed hung up 75, 80 yards. Finally, he just decided, well, I've had enough, I'm gonna come right on in. And sure enough, just did exactly like he was supposed to do, come right on in. Can't ask for any better.
It felt like that bird stayed just to where we couldn't see it.
He did.
Did you have any thoughts that that bird wasn't gonna come in at any time?
The whole time.
The whole time?
I was waiting the whole time, just waited, and then
I originated my swamp tours because I'm a gator trapper in the Atchafalaya. I'd go out every day and search for the alligators. My friends and family caught on to that, and they started offering me a couple dollars to take them into the basin. I started getting airboats, and the business grew. I also learned a lot of history about my swamp. If you or anyone you know wants to take a Mike swamp tour, MikeSwampTours.com. Call me, book a tour. I'll take you, show you the beauty of the Atchafalaya Basin. Well, you've seen it in the show. Anytime we hit the water, especially in the swamp, we use the gator tail outboard. We kept throwing stuff at these motors left and right. They kept chewing stuff up and spitting it out. It's a short version of a long tail. It's the first design of its kind. So if you want to go out in the field and you want something that's tough and reliable, you get a gator tail outboard. This product really does take us places we never thought possible. The Team Voodoo Pro staff always heads over to Bayou Teche Guns in Arnaville for all their gunsmithing needs. Over 40 years of gunsmithing knowledge, they also have a large selection of new and used guns. Shotguns, pistols, rifles, you name it, they got it. For all your gunsmithing needs, head over to Arnaville to Bayou Teche Guns. this show. Anytime we hit the water, especially in the swamp, we use the gator tail outboard. We kept throwing stuff at these motors left and right. They kept chewing stuff up and spitting it out. It's a short version of a long tail. It's the first design of its kind. So if you want to go out in the field and you want something that's tough and reliable, you get a gator tail outboard. This product really does take us places we never thought possible.